that I'm not seeing. To me, it was just clothing. I wanted to look good. So then I started asking myself and finding out deeper, and I found out there was a world called fashion. So I started doing
You
even
just
more.
found it like that.
Exactly, from asking questions, like asking myself questions. So I realized there was a whole world, a whole industry, of fashion designing. Then I just made it my life to researching, like shadowing, other tailors, local tailors. So everything learned from like just streets, from everyone that I could get,
Yeah.
hands
And
on.
you kindly talked about it, like you ask some
Yes.
people you
Yeah.
just know the fashion like that. But when I look at your outfits that I'm
Yeah.
wearing right now, I want to know where the inspiration comes from. Like
Yeah.
probably this is so different from what
Yeah.
we see, but
Yeah.
where do you get your inspiration while creating
Yeah.
collections?
So I mean, definitely from me doing some research and understanding where is this gift coming from. Where is what I'm doing coming from. I realized that my grandfather was a tailor. I had never met him. Unfortunately, he passed before we were born. So, and also my mom used to sell fabric, but then I wanted to do it, different from how they did it. So I started educating myself about textile designing. So each fabric that I design it with a story, I design it with a way of like communicating to the world, and also retelling our African stories. So they all inspired by African diversity and everything about African beauty. Yeah.
So talking about the African beauty and everything, you can see the textures you said.
Yeah.
So from the time you started until
Yeah.
now, how has your designs changed? Because when a person is growing, the growth probably changing.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
has your designs changed
Yes,
so far?
I mean it's definitely changed quite a lot because I started from just buying fabric from markets. I started from like how every other designer will start from t-shirts, but then I always wanted to do more. I always wanted to make sure that people see the beauty of Africa. I always wanted people to see that Africa has so much, and also of course we decolonizing African textile and African fashion in general. So I started digging deeper and making sure that we can dig those stories and share it with the world. So yeah, from buying fabric from the markets, from printing and designing t-shirts, to now, garment constructions, textile, and more and more. Yeah.
You grew up in Rwanda and you were raised in different places, as you said.
Yeah.
And then, how do you think
Yeah.
your brand represent and how well does it
Yes.
meet with our Rwandan culture?
I mean, definitely it's very much influenced by Rwanda and other African countries. Of course, Rwanda is my root, Rwanda is my home. It comes strongly in everything I do, and of course, as Rwandan, I'm an African, so my brand is, mostly Pan-Africanist, so I try to dig into each African culture, and of course, having the signature of Rwanda with everywhere I go. Yeah.
Yes. So also talk about having the signature.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your latest collection.
Yes.
What was it about?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
recently came in Rwanda to collaborate with Makeba about the
Yes.
collection, which was amazing
Yeah.
performance. Tell us a little bit about the collection.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration
So
behind it?
actually, the collection is called Mugongo wa Hetinore. It
Yes.
was an attribution to my mom, who passed during COVID, and
I'm so
I
sorry.
wanted it's life, and I wanted to also share her strength, her bravery, but also commemorate those who walked the earth with before, anyone who those who paved the way, those who've been here before and paved us, who made it possible for us to be able to stand here and tell the stories today. So that's what the collection was all about. So I wanted to show the bravery, I wanted to show the courage, the strength, and also of course highlight everything that Africa has to offer. Yeah.
So then we talked about the way
Yeah.
you collaborate with this kind of prints
Yes. Yes.
that normally we don't see it anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
how did the idea of like using
Yeah.
these kind of prints that
Yes.
we see come?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, of course, I wanted to use the same prints, but in different colors.
Yes.
So each colors that you see on the collection you're wearing or the collection that I did, every color has meaning. Every color, even in symbols that's used, element, all of them, I had to dig them from somewhere so that I can, help me to tell that story that we always talking. Yeah.
You probably visited different places in Rwanda, fashion designers in Rwanda. How have you seen the fashion world in Rwanda so
It's
far?
quite very interesting from the other worlds where I've raised.
Mm,
So the fashion Rwanda, I'm seeing it's growing very fast, and then we have something that's everywhere else we don't have, which is the unity. The collaboration, the warm welcoming. I'm seeing it, being one of the biggest, on African continent.
yes.
Who knows, even the world. You know.
So, apart from that, I mean, digging deep into the
Yes.
fashion, like what
Yeah.
we produce as
Yes.
Rwandans.
Yes.
What do you think about that? The production
Yeah.
we give to the world, the
Yeah.
fashion we sell, like
Mm.
we give to the world. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I think it's quite on the good. I mean, the Rwandan industry is still new,
Yes.
it's still new, but also where we are and what we're doing at the moment is very, it's very at a very good place. I'm very much proud about it. And but of course, I still believe there's so much we still have to do. We still have a long journey. If you want to compete with the world, if you want to compete with Africa, there's so much we need to do. We need to try and be unique, which amongst, of course, our, designers who, I'm seeing quite a lot of similarity in every designer, So I'm hoping and I'm, looking forward to see, the individuality and seeing identity and seeing the uniqueness, within what they're creating. So I think that will be a very great, start moving forward to have that mark in the world. Other than that, I'm seeing quite a lot of copy and paste. I'm sorry to say that. But if you want to, highlight and, cure what we're seeing, we need to poke the bear and see what we can come out of.
Definitely. So you also like attended
Yes.
one of the fashion shows
Yes.
last time, but you're also like
Yeah.
a judge in the modeling competition. You probably saw like the designers, as you
Yes.
just said,
Yeah. Yeah.
them showcasing their
Yes.
collections. But when you take a look when the industry started and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
where it is in Rwanda, and you saw some designers and models, what do you think about these kind of movements
Yeah.
that we have nowadays of like the plus size models,
Yes.
seeing
Yes.
all sorts of people on the
Yeah.
runway?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you
Yeah.
even think your brand
Yeah.
represents that?
So definitely my brand, represent all humankind, so I don't really have any, discrimination of any sorts, as long as you have a story to tell, as long as you are brave, because I design for brave ones, so anyone who
Definitely.
has something to tell, anyone who can put on a garment, and be part of it is always part of my story, and those are the story that I'm trying to tell of the braveness, the courage, through the clothes, yeah. Like I said, I didn't know what fashion was, so I had to learn how to sketch. So, it's capturing everything to be able to elaborate on the storytelling, so everything can be acquired, yeah.
Yeah. And how does fashion meet with
Yeah.
business?
Yeah.
Because many people always say that this is high fashion,
Yeah.
this is luxurious brands that we can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you earn from
Yeah.
creating and putting out your artistic
Yes.
products?
I mean, I always tell people fashion is a business like any other, so you need to like understand what you're doing, you have to have a clear vision. You need to have a business plan like any other, so that you can understand who your target market. You need to understand like the market in general that you're trying to, sell to, so that helps you to actually know how you're going to navigate through the industry, as, creative in general,
Yeah, do you
yeah.
agree with the brands being luxurious brands
Yeah.
only, not being
Yeah.
affordable to the
Uh,
community?
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, but also, of course, you need. Everyone has different, reason and why they're doing what they're doing, And of course, we can't all be luxury brands. We need to also accommodate everyone. We need to have like, variety in everything that we do, But of course, it's hard to tell someone just focus on that or focus on that. If you feel that you can offer luxurious and you have what it takes, I mean, yeah, why not? But of course, there's many people. There's enough rooms for everyone. There's people who want to do fast fashion. There's people who want to do slow fashion. There's people who want to just cater for just the normal people, everyday lives people. So yeah, there is quite. It's just that maybe we only seeing and focus on one side at the moment, because I guess maybe that's where the money is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
You have been in the industry for the quite some time.
Yeah.
Before we go to an end,
Yeah.
what would be the advice that you would tell every starting up business, every starting
Yes.
up brand Just look at the camera, then tell us that.
For anyone, in general, creative in general or business in general. So anything that you want to do, first have love for it, have an understanding. You need to know that it's not going to be easy. It's one, becoming entrepreneur in general is one of the hardest things that anyone can do. But of course, it's very much doable because we've seen people doing it from ground up. So you need to have that love, you need to have passion, you need to have the consistency, you need to have, you need to be a fighter in general.
Yes, that's it from the interview part. Hope you enjoyed and saw what the interview was all about. So let's move on to our next part, which is Style Your Star. We normally go to different places and see what is trending on the market and visit different shops. So let's take a look at the Style Your Star with Rabak.
Okay, in Gabbana, Gabbana, Gabbana.
Name is Rose Businje, and we are currently at BRolls. It's a women's clothing store located on the first floor of Kigali Business Center here in Kigali. I've mixed the desire to make an income and a desire to make a woman look as beautiful as they can. And I do believe for me that fashion does that for people, that no matter how probably society has told you that, oh, you're not good looking or you're not as beautiful in the traditional sense, sometimes fashion can come in handy to update your look, to give you the kind of confidence that sometimes you would not have. In a short while, our model we will be trying out different outfits, and then we will be able to point out for the audience which outfit works for which event. This dress would be perfect going to a wedding. So you're a wedding guest, you could totally pull this off. However, it could also be a dress that you could wear to a party. You could wear this to a friend's birthday, because these days people are so much into things. So if your host decided that, oh, all my guests come in wearing a fuchsia, then this would be the dress that you would wear. Number two, people are so right now so in love with a high slit, and although I like slits to an extent, I think that this is kind of decent enough. It won't make you look naked. It won't make you look ridiculous. And just to give it an updated look, you would want to pair it with a necklace. Sometimes what accessories do for an outfit is they can take it from day to evening. So while this dress without the necklace can just be a day dress, it would be something that you would wear during the day to an event. With this necklace and that matching shoe, this would become an evening look that you would end up taking to a dinner or whatever evening event that you might be invited to. For our last piece today, Caro is modeling what is normally referred to as the ballroom gown. And I think that it comes from an era that was, I think it must have been the Victorian era, where women like wore those corsets that sucked in their stomachs, and then so it's a fit and flare. This is what we call fit and flare, because it fits at the top and then flares all the way. It is really beautiful. It is elegant. It has really, really good fabric. And the plus with this dress is that it has pockets. So for those people who don't like holding bags or clutches as they go to events, this would be a perfect one to choose.
Yes, that's it from our show today. Thank you guys for joining and tuning in the whole show. Thank you to our very own photographer, OK Team, also to our model, Lydia. And you still can follow her on Instagram, Lydia Nadi, and also follow our photographer, OK Team, to our very own makeup artist, Step Salon, Black, and still go and show them love and follow them on Instagram. So that's it from our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye bye.